Okay, I can talk all day about the best way to plan a heritage trip, to go see the place where your family is from. But sometimes the best laid plans get thrown out the window and you have to take advantage of a moment when you have it. So today I'm telling you all about the truth about my last heritage trip. A trip to San Francisco that was hijacked. So when you have a voucher from Southwest and it's going to expire, then you better use it. And what better thing to do than take your husband on a birthday trip? Points for you. And so that is exactly what I did. I planned a birthday trip for my poor husband. Now I say poor because it didn't quite work out maybe the way that he would have wanted. But he was such a good sport. Let me tell you what happened. I love to plan trips. Now, contrary to what you might think, I did not plan every minute. I had a few things in mind, and I just kind of wanted him to do what he wanted to do. It was his birthday. Let's do it the way he wanted to. But my husband's not big into planning things, and he didn't really care. He just wanted to get away. He just wanted to celebrate his birthday. So we get to San Francisco on his actual birthday. And we check into the hotel, and the first thing he wants to do is go get some sushi. And we're talking about, gosh, what do you want to do? And I told him some of the things that we had planned because literally we really hadn't hardly talked about it before we left. I don't know if your marriage is like that, but mine is. And I've got a big smile on my face. And my husband asked me, hey, what are you thinking about? Oh, was that a big mistake? And I gotta tell you, it's true. I'm thinking about my grandma. Yep. See, my grandma was born in San Francisco, as was her mother. And I went to San Francisco with my grandma a couple of times and got to hear some of her great stories about San Francisco. And so whenever I'm in San Francisco, I think of my grandma. I told him, I said, I can't be here and not think about grandma. I want to go see her houses and see what she did. And my sweet husband, the saint of a man, was like, hey, we don't have a lot planned. I'm cool with that. Oh my gosh. Does it get any better than that? So here's a picture of my grandma, Georgette Paston, and her mother. Grandma was only 7 or 8 at the time. I wish I knew the name of the dog. I don't. But this is a great picture of San Francisco, probably 1921, 22. So I pull out what's in my purse and I have this old envelope and I pull it out. I get on the handy dandy Ancestry app and I start taking some notes. Literally, I did this in 10 or 15 minutes. So seriously, I promise I did not plan on doing a heritage trip while I was there for my husband's birthday. I couldn't help it. So I'm a genealogist. So anyway, I go through the censuses really quick and pull their addresses. So in 1880, my great-grandma Aimee Dumont, and I am named after her. My name is Aimee, spelled similarly. Her daughter was actually Aimee, spelled like me. So I was actually named after her daughter. Anyway, side note. So the next morning we head to Fisherman's Wharf because that's the only thing my husband really cared about. We go to the Penny Arcade, which is so fun down there. You can't go to San Francisco without walking down the bay and checking out Ghirardelli. Ghirardelli? I don't know. You can pronounce it however you want. I think it's Ghirardelli. I love that place. There's a lot of memories. I'm going to tell you a story about it in just a minute, but I love chocolate. Who doesn't love chocolate? So of course we went in. I mean, who wouldn't? And there we go, watching the chocolate being made. I'm sure they don't really serve this chocolate because it's out there where everybody's standing and coughing and sneezing and whatnot. But they used to make the chocolate there on that location, which I will explain more about that in a minute. So we have to have some ice cream hot fudge sundaes. So we get this delicious hot fudge sundae and it's open, yes. My favorite of their little candies was the hazelnut and caramel milk chocolate candy. Oh my gosh, to die for. So give that a try. There's the outside. Now, if you notice in this picture, you look at that building just up the street from Ghirardelli and you see a building. What is that building? Well, let me tell you. That is Galileo Academy, which during my grandma's day was Galileo High School. See, it's written there right above the door. Now, if you also take a look at this picture, you will see that there are window air conditioning units in this building still today. This is a today picture. And Grandma used to always talk about being in high school and being just uphill from Ghirardelli and trying to concentrate and listen to the teacher, but no, all she can do is smell chocolate. So whenever I am in the area, I think about my grandma smelling that chocolate and trying to take her math test. Anyway, she just lived a couple blocks away in 1930 while she was in high school. So of course we have to walk over there. And my husband's game because, like I said, he's a prince. So we go to 1526 Filbert Street, and you can see a pretty beat up building, but my great grandmother actually owned that building, and that was part of their income, was the rental income from the other units in the building. Kind of cool. And then look at that old mailbox buzzer thing. I doubt that was there when they were there, but I don't know. Maybe it was in 1930. Maybe that is from 1930. Somebody who knows this stuff, put something in the comments and let me know if you think that was from 1930. Anyway, so cool. So after that, we head over to the French Legion Museum. Got to check that out along with some beautiful art. Saw some Monet. Oh my gosh, it was awesome. So my husband was happy because he likes that kind of stuff. And then, guess what? On the bus ride on the way home, we were going down Geary Street, and just a block off Geary is 1445 Broderick. And who lived there? My grandma. So we got off the bus, went over to the house, took a picture, and had a great time. Now here you see, and one of these pictures is terrible, but that's because it's so old. This was in the 70s, and there I am. I'm probably like 7 or 8 there. And with my grandmother and my little brother, same house, long time ago, but I got to take another picture there today. Really fun. And that night we made good with a fun show. We went to the Curran Theater, which was built in 1922. So I'm there thinking about, maybe did my grandma go there at some point? She may have, my great grandmother too. And we got a chance to see Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It was awesome. So the next day began with the bike ride over the Golden Gate. And if you have not done that before, let me tell you, it was a blast. We rented bikes, biked over the Golden Gate, stopped by Fort Point, which was built in 1853. So great grandma would have known that, as well as grandma. So that was kind of cool. In this picture, my husband doesn't look so happy, but trust me, he was having a great time. Anyway, we rode over to Sausalito, and this was the view from the other side. Gorgeous. And then we got on a ferry to head back to San Francisco, all part of the bike tour. Really, honestly, totally recommend it. And of course, as we drive by, we see Alcatraz. Now, Alcatraz is another place of great family stories that I got to share with my husband, although to be honest, he's heard it before. But my grandma actually was there frequently. No, she was not a prisoner. In Alcatraz, you can see that burned out building right there. That was the social hall, or officers' club. That was a place where officers and their families could unwind. And they had a library, a dance floor, billiard table, ping pong, and a 2-lane bowling alley. And that's where my story comes in. You see, my grandma had a really good friend whose dad was a guard at Alcatraz. And so she would go over to Alcatraz with her friend and they would bowl. And guess what? The prisoners would reset the pins. I kid you not. That was her story. I love that story. And then of course we had to hit Chinatown because Chinatown's awesome and you got to get some Chinese food while you're in San Francisco. Well, it's time to go. Our bags are packed and we're ready to head home. But was there time for one more stop? Of course there was. Right almost directly between our hotel and the airport, we could stop at 2759 Harrison Street. Now, Redfin says that this house was built in 1900 and my family lived there in 1880. I don't know. Maybe Redfin's wrong. Maybe it's the same house. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's a new house that was built on spot because I don't know when they moved. You know, we didn't have a census in 1890, so we have this big gap. They could have moved right before 1900 when they were enumerated in 1900 in someplace else. So I don't know, but you know what? It gives me something to go back to San Francisco for. I can go into those county archives and dive into some of those public records and find out more about when my family lived there and how long that house was there. And there's lots of ways that I can check. I need to look at some city directories, and anyway, gives me something to do, like I don't have enough to do. Home we go. We had a blast. It was a great trip. Not only was my husband happy because we did all of the things that he wanted to do, we got to fit in some family history at the same time, which always makes me happy. So if you're in the area where your family lived, even if you haven't planned a family trip, give it a try. It's a lot of fun, and it's always a rewarding thing to find out more about your family and see the places that they lived. Happy birthday, honey. So if this was a fun video for you, please click like. And if you want to plan a heritage like the real deal, if you're going out of the United States or even if you're staying within and you really want to be prepared when you're visiting a location, check out this video because this video will tell you how to do it right. Have a great day.